Elder Jacob Gates addressed the conference. He rejoiced in the opportunity of meeting with the saints in General Conference. It was the first time in several years that such a privilege had been enjoyed in this building. He was reminded by what we had been singing that God lives. This is the last time the Lord purposed to prune his vineyard prior to his coming as a mighty conqueror, when every knee would bow and confess that Jesus is the Christ. It will also be acknowledged that Joseph Smith is a prophet, and that his successors are among the chosen of God. During the 57 years of the existence of the Church in this dispensation, the saints had gained experience, and the Lord required that they should have more faith as a consequence. The speaker knew that every phase through which the Church had passed had been overruled for the benefit of the faithful, whose feet had been thus placed upon a higher plane. Brother Gates then dwelt upon the principle of revelation as applied to the calling of men to be ministers for God. To this sphere men must be called of God, as was Aaron, who was selected by the voice of the Lord, fresh from the divine fountain. This system of truth with which the saints are identified has also been revealed in this way. It inculcated the same doctrines as preached by the Savior and his ancient disciples, who dwelt in mortality contemporaneously with himself. The prediction by John the Revelator in reference to the restoration in the latter times of the fullness of the gospel was referred to, and the speaker held that the very fact of such an event being predicted showed that there was to be a falling away from the true order of the gospel. If such were not the case, a restoration would be superfluous. It was the greatest blessing that could be enjoyed by mortals to know that God lives. The speaker here gave a revelation of the first experience of the prophet Joseph Smith, when he was visited and instructed by the Father and the Son, and when he was chosen as an instrument to inaugurate the marvelous work of the latter times. He could testify to the world that God lives, because his eyes had seen and his ears heard. The present was a time of trial, and men suffered imprisonment and other inconveniences and hardships for conscience' sake. The day would come, however, when freedom would spread over this goodly land, which had been dedicated to liberty. Notwithstanding the forbidding appearance of things on the surface, the speaker considered this a bright day, because it immediately preceded the breaking through of the light of liberty and truth in greater brilliancy than ever. The righteous had nothing to fear, but the wicked had great reason to do so, and the Lord had said through his prophet that he would visit the latter with swift and terrible judgments. The saints would renew their faithfulness and keep out of their hearts every feeling of animosity toward their enemies.